Spawning in the upper right in the red, he is the Protoss player, the Danish sensation from Storm. It's MAXPAX. His opponent in this team kill, the Slayer of Classic, the Taltaran, GUMIHO. And that's an early probe on the map, early SCV on the map, I'm sorry. For whatever reason, when I'm casting a game of StarCraft, more often than not, I will swap the names of units in my head. It's not an SCV, it's a probe. It's not a probe, it's an SCV. And all else being equal, it's probably a drone when there's no Zerg in the game. It's one of my failings as a caster. I just try to force myself to say worker at all times. But worker, I barely know her. But okay, so MAXPAX gets a scat on it and he says, double gas. There's nothing in your wall. I know exactly what this is. This is fine. This is the standard meta of PvT at the moment. This is just how things tend to go. And we're going to have to see how MAXPAX responds. Does he build a Zealot? Normally, one would think you would. Trap is of the opinion that you just always build your Zealot anyways, and if you don't need it, you just cancel it. You wouldn't gamble Pocket Lint. Well, that's fine, Matt in the Crown, but channel points are worth less than Pocket Lint. And Hydra, no worries. I mean, realistically, you taking a game off MAXPAX would have been incredible. All right, so bunker's going on down now. And this is a odd spot for a bunker. MAXPAX is aware of this. But he's got, what does he got? Stalker on the way. SCV, excuse me, probe being annoying. Onto the factory going down. Reaper finds its way into the main base. MAXPAX, his probe pulls are going to have to be nice for the moment to make sure he doesn't really lose too much of anything. But SimCity actually here from MAXPAX is rather nice. It makes it hard for... Oh, probe, you're gonna get the SCV. One takes 3 more shots. 1, 2. Oh, does not get it, and the SCV is going to be able to retreat into the bunker. But Stalker now can take this fight a little bit easier because the shield battery is just about done. It's gonna heal it up, and the minute the SCV pops out, well, it does not get repaired. So two total probes have died. Here's the big difference, though. GUMIHO, he got a second Reaper. It means that we're not just going to have the critical mass of units into the natural that's doing everything. But there we go. Looks like the bunker was salvaged. SCV does not die, but the Reaper does. GUMIHO gets the scout off, though. He says, Stargate is the response. Stargate is the response for my opponent. That's fine. That's good to know. I tend to like Stargate in this matchup. All things being equal, we see a couple different ways it goes. You either go Oracle into Blink. That is something that Zest has really been pushing forward, even pre-patch. Or you go Mass Phoenix. You commit yourself to, instead of a lot of Stalkers early, you get a lot of Phoenix early. You're able to deny drops much easier. Widowmine drops, sure, they're annoying. You have harassment potential in a different way than you otherwise would. And now look at this. We're going to see Stalker lead with a probe. Command Center going down on the natural, but of course, because this was proxied, things are going to be a little bit slower here. And oh, nice body block with that probe. It's a small thing, but it means the Cyclone does not complete its lockout. It means this Stalker survives. Now it's just going to be recalled on home. All for the sacrifice of 50 minerals. So now third base on the way here for MAXPAX. More and more Phoenix on the way. We got the Robo where it needs to be as well. But this is a 3-1. Well, assume eventually 1, but this is a 3-1 right now. Stim, timing, and actually the interesting thing is we don't have a tech lab on the second barracks. So you would generally expect to see 2 tech labs go down, build 2 Marines, 2 Marauders at a time, move into Stim combat shields, concussive shells. Hydra. It's, how are you hungover? It's what? It's like 1 a.m. your time, something like that. I don't know what time it is in the Netherlands. But like, how are you hungover? People are hungover in the mornings, unless you partied so hard yesterday that you're feeling the hangover for the rest of forever. Unless you're saying you're hungover from beating Pig, which is a different story, and that's fair. Pig is an intoxicating presence, and I'm sure, well, beating him only accentuates that feeling. As now the Phoenix, they feel comfortable. They're going to run onto the other side of the map. They're going to fight a lot of Marines and 3 Cyclones. It feels like GUMIHO wants to, I mean, this is a 3-1-1. So he will look to get aggressive here, but 3 Cyclones does tell us that he wants to get aggressive maybe a little bit earlier than he might otherwise look to go. Is a nice grenade there. No big lock-ons on top of a lot of these Phoenix. They're going to have to run away, which means the Stalker does go down as now GUMIHO is pressing on forward, but none of his upgrades are done, so he doesn't really want to do too much right now. He's buying space, though. He is establishing dominant positions on the map. So when he looks to actually get pressure going, when he looks to actually hit with this push, with this sledgehammer of a build, MAXPAX will not know what's happening until a little bit later than he might otherwise wish to know. But we have an Immortal out, Colossus on the way. They're not yet done. Extended Thermal Lance, of course, not yet started here. This game really will be on the Phoenix lifts and MAXPAX. He kind of misses this army. The scan tells him something's happening. There is like nothing on the ground here, though. Bio looking to stem on in. Shield Batter Overcharge gets popped immediately. We're going to see the Phoenix lift Marines because that's just what they have to do as the Bio stems on in to the Robo here. If it gets the Robo, that's going to be a rather big deal. Good lift, though, on top of these Cyclones. They're going to knock down so much of the DPS of this army, but there are no shield batteries healing things. The Marines are doing a damn fine job. The Cyclones there, they're going down, and the Colossus pops out. MAXPAX, he buys the time that he needs. This push is done. It is dusted. MAXPAX stays alive. He only loses of impactful units. He loses an Immortal. He loses 3 Phoenix, but he stays alive. And that is the important thing because he's up a base. He's up 10 workers. And the next time this push happens, he will have 2 Colossus. And because GUMIHO committed to this Cyclone play, it's not going to be a push with a lot of tech next time. It will just be pure bio. Hydra. That's fair. That reminds me, though, I need to replenish my whiskey stores or my scotch, whatever, my hard liquor stores. I'm out of bourbon. I'm out of scotch. I'm out of most things because I'm cheap. I'm a broke PhD student. Whatever. So what am I drop is going to find its way into the 3rd base here. MAXPAX. He's got to pull now. Oh, good last second hold is the bio here is going to get. Oh, that's so many Phoenix going down. I think that's all of them. Yeah, 4 or 5 Phoenix just went down there. Now, that's not really what you want. Is probes are getting rallied into this position too. That is a bit of a miss rally here, MAXPAX. You don't want to lose that. And you're going to lose some scouting. Some scouting pylons here as well. Now, it should not supply block him because he's spent this what, 600 minerals far in advance of when he needs it. The goal here is to make sure he knows where his opponent army is, and even as he loses something, he's going to be fine. Do we have Blink done? The answer is no. It is Phoenix into charge because Phoenix take the role of Blink Stalkers, but when you've lost so many Phoenix, it is a bit of a problem here. So now, again, what am I drop's going to find its way on in? Oh, but there we go. It's not going to find anything whatsoever. Good hot warp in there for MAXPAX. He had the things off cooldown. He was able to make something happen. But GUMIHO is massing up here. He's got 2-2 on the way. 1-1 is done. He's going to stim on in. The 4th base is not going to go up here for MAXPAX, but that's fine. Big deal. Look at this army supply. I've been talking about this. You know, it's kind of fine here. We're going to be okay. MAXPAX doesn't feel like he's lost too much, but that is such a big army supply differential. That is such a big army supply differential. Although it looks like by the time this push happens in earnest, charge should be done, and MAXPAX should have enough zealots to be able to run interference for the Colossus. And it is 3 Colossus on the field. That is a decent army here. 6 seconds until charge is done. GUMIHO looking to stim into the natural right now. Where are our zealots, though? There are only 5 on the map. 6 Stalkers, 5 Zealots. And we're just going to see... Okay, I thought we were going to see a big drop into the main base, but the Stalkers are there. As GUMIHO is stimming on into this 4th base location. And it's crazy looking this game. MAXPAX is so good at making comebacks happen. And this game simultaneously feels so in reach for MAXPAX. You just look at the trades that have been happening. The way he's kind of not taking a lot of damage, but then you realize it's 10 minutes and he does not have a 4th. the Terran player is up somewhere between 30 and 50 army supply, and there's this drop on the north side that's going to knock down so many of these zealots that whose job it was really was to clean up the drop. So that's a bit of a problem, but there's another army on the south side. This is where we're starting to see the fact that MAXPAX's army supply is not where it needs to be really come to fruition. He cannot split his army. He can fight one army of GUMIHO, but he cannot fight two. And he's down 2 upgrades as well. Soon he will be 3, but he's got double forge at the very least. This is the big deal, though. GUMIHO has his 4th base stunned. Planetary about halfway there. He can drop 3 mules on that at a time. He's got his 5th base on the way. He is just turning into a boa constrictor, constricting the map, making it so the MAXPAX is not allowed to expand, and also, again, just sucking up resources. He's hoovering up pretty much every spot on his side of the map right now. Now, Blink is eventually going to be done, which means MAXPAX is going to be able to be a little bit more reactive. He's going to be less... His requirements on his army splitting are going to be less stringent. But Blink is not yet done. +1 ship weapons are on the way, which means these Vikings... do we have any Vikings? We only have 2, so that's a bit obnoxious. It means the Vikings that will eventually pop out will be rather nice. GUMIHO finds his way on into this 4th base once again. Probes getting pulled here. He's got to sacrifice some workers just to get through the Widow Mines because it looks like there's no detection where we are right now. And there we go. Colossus will be able to clean that one on up, but here's the problem. So Vikings, they're not really getting the damage that they're looking for, but GUMIHO flanking in from every side, looking to move on in here, but there are 4 Colossus on the field. And this is a scary army for MAXPAX. It's down 50 army supply, but it's still a scary army as we do the Widow Mine. There we go. We'll find his price of blood. MAXPAX, now he's got a 4th base on the way. Again, but he's been trying to get this one for forever. And the further MAXPAX moves on forward, the bigger of a surround that GUMIHO has. And in fact, this one's not even a surround. This is just stimming into the mineral line. And the MAXPAX is not in position to defend. A bunch of Zealots are going to warp in, but it's down upgrades. And we're going to see shield batteries go down, defense go down, Zealots trying to get on top of things. This is just not a lot of gateway units. And as they're down upgrades, they're just not very good, even with the lack of a warp prism. But MAXPAX is saying, this is my opportunity here to push into your 5th base. And as much as we talk about, well, the army defensively is not all that great. The army defensively for GUMIHO, not incredible either. It's just a bunch of bio looking for an arc, and this is for Colossus. It has +2. That's a lot of stuff, and the Zealots will eventually be able to clean up this run by on the other side. MAXPAX taking really no damage, and he finds a positive trade for the first time in this game. It feels like in quite a while. He finds a positive trade, but he needs to do more. He does truly need to do more in this game because GUMIHO has this 3-3 just about done. MAXPAX is going to be down 3 upgrades. He's down so much economy. He has to find a hammer blow here. He's got to find some way to carve off a large chunk of GUMIHO's army, and then maybe he can start to do something. But this is a massive concave. Archon's looking to move on in. Force fields, there's not what they need to be. Marauders on top of everything. There's nothing to defend these Colossus. And yeah, 4 Colossus, that's a lot of DPS, but only so long as they're allowed to stand and fight. The micro of MAXPAX is fantastic. Disruption shot is not going to be where it needs to be, and GUMIHO is absolutely cracking MAXPAX open in this game number 1. The supply is massive. The economy is massive. Everything is massive. GUMIHO is not the biggest of games. He is a close second. All the tech of MAXPAX is now gone. GUMIHO rallying on in. And Charizard Archon down 3 upgrades is not the way you beat a Terran. The splits from GUMIHO, the micro, they're fantastic. These Archons, they're going to get popped by a bunch of balloons. GUMIHO has turned a corner. He is disgusting. Hope you're having a good evening, GSNB. I'm having a fantastic one. I was just working on thesis proposals all day, but or my thesis proposal all day, but I figured out something for my simulation that solves a problem that I've been struggling with for quite a while. So I will take that. And then I got to work out, and I made some tasty Moroccan food. I made like a chicken tagine with something called shirmula, which is this marinade with olive oil, of course, but a lot of cilantro because I can't ever find the leafy part of coriander, and they're pretty much the same thing. And a bunch of other stuff, and some preserved lemon, which is this really interesting floral flavor. As we see MAXPAX, he's just delaying the natural. Of course, with the marine out, it does mean that this probe will have to run away, and it's going to accept its death. Blood for the blood god. Probes for the probe god? Hello there, Mr. Cyberjan. Cyberjan. So you want to talk about why that game went poorly for MAXPAX in game number 1? Realistically, he had a great hold. Like, that was genuinely a fantastic hold, perfectly timed against the build that GUMIHO went for. And then you're like, great, he's going to be okay. Even losing a couple Phoenix is realistically kind of fine there. And then he runs 4 or 5 Phoenix over a bunch of Marines, loses them all, has no drop defense, has no lift ups, nothing that really allow him to stabilize that next push. And from there, it's eventual death by 1,000 cuts until GUMIHO finds himself up 40, 50, 60 army supply, 2 bases, and just slapping this game super hard. So we're going to have to see. MAXPAX already, he's not going for Stargate in this second game. It's going to be Blink on the way. Now, I understand why, if you are a Protoss player, you would choose to go Blink in this, or you choose to go Stargate against GUMIHO. He has shown a tremendous desire to go for Widowmine drop. These early, these 1.5, 2 base plays. Things like that. Ah, very nice. I was never really into the customs scene or the arcade game scene. In fact, I didn't really play arcades either. I bought StarCraft because of Scarlett's run in the WCS season final summer in 2013, where she played this incredible game against Star Station. Oh, sure, I did say something about your squad back when you were celebrating it. But I'm just saying, your personal achievements don't really have as much of a bearing on what I've done. Although they are impressive, so well done. So yeah, that's 4 plates, right? 4 plates on the rack. But now these Hellions are not going to find much of anything. Good job there, MAXPAX. It's good. Oh yeah. Oh, MAXPAX is doing so much better in this game. The Hellions were at the front. They were not dropped into the main base. So the goal here from GUMIHO was to convince MAXPAX that everything was in the main base, to force a reaction there, and then Hellions run into the natural. But MAXPAX had enough Stalkers out that he didn't really have to worry about it anyways. He had enough where he needed to be, and now, with this 3-gate blink, with this Warp Prism done, GUMIHO really committing to early stuff. There is not a tank. Tank is going to be done now, but it's Cyclone and Raven for the moment versus a lot of Stalkers that are going to look to blink on in. Notice that there's a bunker going down. GUMIHO knows he's in a bit of a pickle here. Stalkers blink onto the high ground immediately. This bunker will not be allowed to complete. There we go. Adepts getting dropped onto the high ground as well, taking a fantastic fight against everything. The tank is going to pop out, but to its doom, it's not really having the lock-ons. Or excuse me, it's not really having the sieged up position that it needs. Marines coming on in from the low ground, but MAXPAX, he's trying to break his opponent right here, right now. The Raven does go down. Bio looking to move on in, but Stim is not a thing. And there are 2 forms of blink in this game. The blink that the Stalkers have and the blink that the Warp Prism gives them. But SCVs getting pulled are going to do enough for now. And this is only 3-gate, it's not 4. So MAXPAX, he's forced back. Tank is going to be able to siege on up. And, well, actually MAXPAX should just jump on top of this tank. Realistically, he should jump on top of the tank, but instead he's just going to run behind things, run into the middle line, force the tank to reposition, force it to unsiege. MAXPAX see this? No, he doesn't. He sees it now, and he's going to blink out. Lose actually 2 Stalkers. That's unfortunate. But he's finding his pound of flesh. And there, more gateways on the way, charge on the way, 3rd base. MAXPAX is on 3 gates, so he's going to go into something like a Charge-Led Archon type play. We're going to have to see. His tank is in the high ground. So with 2 tanks here, it's a little bit harder for MAXPAX to really continue to find value. All right, so again, the Stalkers are going to run forward a little bit, but with 2 tanks with this bunker, it's a little bit harder for MAXPAX to find the value. And most importantly, it's not really the smartest play for him to go try to kill his opponent right now when he could just contain and find value here or there, take his 3rd base, get on to 6 gateways. Realistically, he goes up to 8. Charge-Led Archon, and then when GUMIHO, feeling the pressure in this game, decides to run out on the map, Charge will be done, Archons will be done, and this army gets swallowed up. But GUMIHO, he's taking a slightly quicker 3rd base than normals. This drop does not get found on out here. Nice positioning there from MAXPAX. But GUMIHO is third base just a little bit faster here. I think he's starting to realize that he has taken enough damage that he will miss his timing. So he's not really going to be allowed to run across the map with plus 20 army supply and a bunch of stim bio and tanks and make something happen. In fact, he's kind of scared of DT play. We saw some random missile turrets go down. Where's this War Prism? Okay, it's already back home. Because there are going to be some storms in it. Some High Templar. They're going to look to, again, eviscerate this army, but GUMIHO, he's just turtling up super hard. He's channeling his inner TY, his inner Maru, maybe. And he's saying, no. No. I'm not going to play this game where you're just going to sit here, I'm going to run out, and you're going to swallow me whole. No. I am going to turtle myself up really hard. I'm going to make myself really impenetrable. I'm going to slowly work my way out to try to take a third base eventually. And I'm going to eventually build an economic position that I want to have. And because I have mules, I will be able to kind of make a comeback from an economic perspective. And you, well, you're going to feel this need to throw yourself against me ideally. And then that's where I'm going to find my value. As the Stalkers, well, they eat a tank shot, they back on up. But GUMIHO feels like he's kind of established positions for his third base at the moment. But this is the timing. We talk about a Terran turtling on up. This is the timing that MAXPAX is looking to hit. His Storm is done. His +1 attack is done. He's got a lot of Zealots. Morphing in a couple more Archons or a couple more High Templar to build these Archons. And GUMIHO... Well, actually, let's zoom out. There we go. GUMIHO is looking for a way to make sure he has this hold. 3 tanks on the low ground, 2 on the high ground. The Zealots coming on in from the north side, but they're going to tank a couple shots to me. The Starkers blink forward. They zone out so many of these tanks for the Storms. They may invalidate everything. All the army on the low ground is going down. Stalkers, though, they can't get on top of these tanks just yet. Third base is broken. That much is for gosh darn sure. And that's just going to be it. GUMIHO says, I don't have a chance to come back in this game anymore. MAXPAX, he ties it up. Spawning in the upper right, he is in the red. Snowballing to a victory in game 2, MAXPAX. And his opponent at the bottom left, in the blue, a dominant Terran force. It's GUMIHO. Okay. MAXPAX just immediately scouting off. He says, yes, proxy barracks are a little bit scary. I don't want to deal with them. So, probe scouting immediately. This is not a proxying force. This is very much I'm going to put our probe on the map. I'm going to make sure that there's not a proxy barracks, at least not one that is super close to my base. If you want to go Macarax and do something, that's fine. Whatever. That doesn't really impact me all that much. It decreases the rush distance or the rush time by maybe a second. Not the biggest of deals. But GUMIHO, his barracks is in his main base. It's just in a weird spot. This may catch MAXPAX off guard. He might say, oh, well, yeah, you know. Command Center on the high ground MAXPAX may be a little bit scared here. I mean, Command Center on the high ground does tend to say, okay, this is a little bit of shenaniganry. MAXPAX, does he go check? And he's going to commit onto this SCV for now, but there's a repair. So MAXPAX actually doesn't get a scout in the main. He cares much more about, I guess, delaying the command center than checking to see what his opponent is doing. But now the Reaper will pop out. Most likely it kills the probe on the... Yeah, okay, so MAXPAX now knows that at the very least this is a Reaper expand. He kind of knew that anyways, but he knows the Reaper expand is from his opponent's main base. So he doesn't have to worry about super quick rush, anything like that. And game 3 is made without Game Heart. Sorry. I didn't notice. My bad. Okay, so now Adept's running onto the other side of the map. We're going to see second Adept get out of here rather quickly, and that will be able to deal with the Reaper for now. And MAXPAX, yeah, he's going to open up with Twilight once again in this game. I like that a lot more. Now, Reaper Grenade will actually bump one probe out of healing range, but with this Adept popping out, the Reaper's not going to get too much done. Adept looking for a way in on the other side, but Command Center was not delayed long enough, so this Adept will not be able to do much of anything. And the game goes on. Both players, their early game aggressive options have really not accomplished all that much. Marines are going to try to get an Adept, though, But with the shade out, it should be fine. Yeah, there we go. So Adept pops out. Reaper's actually going to try to maybe chase that down, but Adept looks like it's taken a path that the Reaper will not be able to follow. Or looks like it will not follow. It certainly could. Reaper is much more maneuverable, of course, than the Adepts are. But there we go. MAXPAX with Blink coming on down behind this. Question, though, is how many gates does he add? Right now, it is 1. So it looks like it's going to be 2-gate expand for MAXPAX in this game, which makes sense. It's Glittering Ashes. Games don't end before 15 minutes. Not at all. Also, Matt in the Crown, you were complaining about how PvT is kind of broken. MAXPAX snowballed that game pretty easily in game 2, so is TVP the one that's now unfair? I don't know. But, okay, so the army moving on forward here. Single Cyclone, single Reaper, single Heli. It's just a kitchen sinky units. They will find the Scouting Adept on the middle of the map, but honestly, MAXPAX is okay with that. And I think I said 2-gate expand. No, it's 4-gate. It's 4-gate Blink. MAXPAX is committing to the pressure in this game. His Blink is not done just yet. He would love it to be, so he can get on top of these units, pair them off, and then just cut down on the defensive utility of GUMIHO that much more. He's already doing a lot of damage to the Cyclone. Stark's Blink forward now. Knocking that Cyclone down is actually so big in this push, but there's a drop in the main base, and while this is 4-gate, the warp ins have been used elsewhere for now, it looks like. So this drop is starting to find values. Killed 6 probes, it looks like, to start here, and it's going to be forced on out, and more warp ins forced at home. GUMIHO just finding the perfect pressure release valve in this game. Already tanks are on the way. Stalker's blinking backwards. MAXPAX looking to just maximize this value for the moment. How many probes died at the end of the day? Yeah, okay, so my guesstimate was correct. It was 6 workers. MAXPAX, he's going to have to reprobe. But this drop just means that MAXPAX has to find damage. We already kind of knew that he had to find damage, but here's the question. There's the answer. There are 2 tanks on the field. Where are they? Both in the natural? Where's the... Oh, okay, there we go. It's going to siege on up in the main base here, getting decent coverage, but not perfect. MAXPAX going to blink on up the high ground. He's going to try to find the corner here, and there we go. Stalkers blink on in. They're just going to kill this tank, though. They're going to eat 3 shots, and that is not exactly what you want. Nice job there from MAXPAX. He's going to pick up a lot of these Stalkers, keep them safe from the tank shots for now. Now the Stalker's blinking on backwards, getting ferried onto low ground. A lot of these SCVs are going down. We're going to have to see how much damage is done in a second. But MAXPAX, yeah, he took damage early, but a lot of GUMIHO's army is on the other side of the map. Or I guess it's running back now, but the Reaper Hellion is finding nothing. There's a shield battery where that needs to be. MAXPAX going to warp in more stuff. He's up 20 workers. As much damage as he took earlier, losing those 6 workers is a pain and a half. He's going to get the bunker now here, and that's just it. MAXPAX 4-gate. Too strong. GUMIHO falls. MAXPAX is in the round of 4.